All righty, let's moving right along. A lot of people see her all over social media. She has got an amazing social media presence. Todd was talking about how there's just not the buyer pool right now is not as active. I was talking to Jennifer earlier. Well, that's not the case for her. She's incredibly busy with buyers and sellers, and one of our top producers here at West USA. And we always have get those opportunities to interview our top producers, find out what's working, what's not working for them. So Jen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, excited to be here.
All right, so let's just jump right into it. The do's and don'ts to your success. And I was reading these earlier over the weekend. I'm like, oh, this is.
You reviewed this edited?
Yes, I do. So we're going to go through your dues, and I love this. So many agents aren't doing this. And just listening to the Monday morning podcast to me is not necessarily doing enough to staying on top of the market. The market is constantly moving and flowing, and there's so many ebbs and flows to the market. Sometimes there are minute changes, but minute changes can make a big difference. Sometimes there's big changes. So you're very big in understanding market stats. What kind of market are we in, and so forth?
Yeah, so the big thing for me was understanding the market as the buyer. Like everybody kind of looks at the word market and they think they need to know stats, they need to know numbers, they need to know how many days on market, and all those things are super important, which we get every Monday from this podcast. But a lot of it is just knowing, what are the buyers thinking, what do the buyers want, what are the buyers getting, what do the sellers need to be willing to give the buyers to continue to keep the market and the ebb and flow going, right? So I think that's like a big piece. Right now, I'm still seeing a lot of sellers giving closing costs. A lot of the times they're asking for, 4 to 6%. You need to know, what's the percent that I can get for closing costs for a conventional loan, how much for a FHA loan. Like, know your lenders, get your pocket full of lenders and information, and sit in on as many things as you possibly can to kind of keep track of those numbers and what they're doing. Education is the biggest piece for me. If I'm not educating my buyers, I'm not educating my sellers, I'm doing everybody a disservice, including me. When you go into a listing appointment and you don't tell them, like, here's what's happened on the last 3 or 4 transactions with me, so let's be prepared for this before we list, and let's be reasonable at listing in this market, you're not helping yourself, because you're not going to get the house sold, you're not going to get the listing. Someone's going to come in behind you and do that for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, because Todd does an incredible job of giving us the numbers, and I love the fact that we're breaking them down by price points, because houses at certain price points act differently than houses at other price points. And it's not enough anymore. I'm not gonna say anymore, I don't know if you ever should have, but I've been guilty of it, of here are the numbers, I vomit the numbers, but don't sit down with my clients and go, okay, these are the numbers, this is what it means, and this is what I'm seeing. And for agents who don't have that same experience right now and aren't seeing as much as we're seeing, get with people, a coach, mentor, whatever the case is, someone who's busy, or mastermind groups or whatever. Because I think sometimes I look at the numbers, and then I look at real life, and I'm like, it's not what the consumer behavior is not sometimes matching up to the numbers.
100%. I couldn't agree more. That's absolutely true. I mean, I have a listing anywhere from 100,000 up to over 600,000, and every single one needs something different. So you need to know what those are. And I agree. Hang on to the shirt tails of people who have gone before you, who are successful, people who don't want anything from you, but people who want to just teach you and give away what they have, because we can't keep it unless we do, right? So education is huge.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we have said, Mike, for decades on here, at least a decade, that it's my numbers are great, but my numbers are like looking at national numbers. It's just mine are Arizona numbers, and so what yours need to be are hyper local numbers. So your marketplace, your where you're taking your listing. If you know some of that information, but Jennifer, I love what you said, and what you said was the puzzle of understanding what the buyer's situation, what are they thinking, what are they looking for, and then what's the seller thinking, what are they looking for, and then you said by price range or by location. You nailed it.
That's it. You can't get the same per square foot in Scottsdale that you're gonna get in Central Phoenix. It just doesn't work that way. You need to know your market.
All right, number two, I think systems and processes are everything. I know agents who typically are doing 5 to 12 deals a year and can't seem to break that barrier to double their business. Typically, it's processes in systems. For me, everything that happens in my real estate business should engage some sort of system, some sort of process, because this ensures nothing and no one, slips through the cracks. And then what happens is when agents are newer, they don't have their processes and systems. They're just like trying to just get business going. Then all of a sudden they find that groove and they start getting busy. And sometimes it's too late to look back and start putting together the systems and the processes. It's a tough one.
I'm gonna get stuck on this one. You guys are gonna have to tag me out because I've got a lot to say about this one. I have some gals. I co-lead with Arizona Gem Group with Melissa, and we've got some gals on there, and I've taught them to do exactly what I didn't do. And the first thing is wise agent. Like, get in there, get your CRM. It is the most important thing that I need them to do, and to learn how to use it and make sure that you're going back every 7 days and talking to somebody, but teaching, educating. I made the mistake of just putting it all in there and not following up. And I've done lead sources from day one. I've got, thousands of people in there, but if I'm not reaching out to them every 7 days, then somebody's going to fall through the cracks and go somewhere else. So now I'm much better.
And nowadays, they might, if you don't reach out to them every 7 days, sometime between now and the next time you reach out to them, they might have signed a buy work agreement with someone.
There's that.
There's
that. Social media, TikTok, all of that is super, super important. So some of the tricks of the trade, Anna Hawk had said to me once that she was super successful, but silently. And that stuck with me. So you got to find your niche. You got to find what works for you. For me, it's live videos on Facebook. So I'm just completely authentic. I think being authentic is super important in the real estate world, because people want to know who they're dealing with. Have your three, and I don't have this up here, but have your 3-minute intro. Who are you? Like, where did you come from? And I have my 3-minute intro. Here's when I climbed corporate ladder. Here's when I got hurt. Here's when I reinvented myself. Here's who believed in me. I have that ready to say to somebody. I used to script it out. I used to say it with people. They want to know who you are. They want to trust you. So be authentic, and you want things that give you credibility, right? So credibility is super important. I do classes on a buyer's presentation, a seller's presentation, open house presentation. That's how I meet other agents, and I just grab the boardroom and I'm like, come on, let's do this, and have a title sponsor, have a lender sponsor. Those are really big things. So farming your area. Everybody lives in a community. If it's a 4-block radius, a 5-block radius, if you want to spend $100 a month, $300 a month, whatever you want to do, but get your face in front of your community. That's super, super important. Start from day one, right? Because in 3 years, that's going to be your income, is that farming. And I didn't think to do that.
You're making me feel so bad.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible agent.
It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. So I have my hands in everything.
We may run out of time. This
Okay.
is my favorite. So my problem is, I get my own way. Like, when I take a look at my neighborhood and I take a look at farming my neighborhood, I have got some of the most grandiose ideas. Like, I could make this go big, but I don't have the time to make it go big. And so what I fail to do is say, hey, let's just start small and do something. So sometimes it's that, paralysis by analysis. I know how to freaking farm a neighborhood, and I got some of the greatest ideas. And if I could talk my next door neighbor into getting licensed, we would kill it. But then I just don't have time to do it all, and so then I don't do anything.
Yeah. Well,
don't look at me like that. That was wow.
If everybody saw
I
that.
get that look from my wife all the time.
I'm just thinking you might be able to join the ADHD club, because I feel like that's what we do, right? It's like squirrel shiny thing. Where are we going? I have my hands like 12, 15 things at a time all the time, and I don't keep it straight. And I do not do stuff that I need to do. It's what we do. So just pick what works for you and throw away the rest. Like, I constantly tell my team, like, I tell you, like, this is what you need to do. But at the end of the day, just because I talk that way, only take with you what works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. I did my first client appreciation barbecue since I've been a realtor, and 45 people showed up, but it was perfect, right? It worked out great. Will I do it again? Absolutely. Was it a lot of work? Absolutely, but it was a blast. But it took me years to talk myself into doing it. So same concept, big idea, it takes a while.
All right, so, you know, if anyone's out there listening to the sound of my voice and you live at the Tatum and Bell area, go ahead and reach out to me. I got some big ideas. All right, be professional,
Wow.
but be authentic. I'm interested to hear
Love
your
the image.
perspective on this, because if you put 100 agents up there and asked 100 agents to define what it means to be professional, you're gonna get 100 different answers.
Well, I'm a little weird, so sometimes I have to tone down my weirdness to be professional for y'all, but then it gets boring and then I go back to being weird again. But it's who I am. So for me, the authenticity is the Facebook lives. Like if I fall, you're gonna see me fall, right? I've got like $1 Million Monday, and if I don't have time to go search for an empty $1 Million house, I do No Makeup Monday, and that's my video for the day. I have Where's Waldo Wednesday. I mean, it's just being authentic. It's just being yourself and getting out there in front of people. Credibility, you know, get involved. BNI, it's a big one. Like if you don't have a BNI close to you, I was the founder of a BNI, stayed with it for 3 years. Go make your own BNI. I'm not certified. I'm out there with the recon, or not. I did do recon. I'm out there with the relocation leads that we do, the Realtor.com.
I like that
leads.
plug. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, not enough people know that Mike and Ryan were absolute angels to me at time of my real estate. But so be authentic and get out there. I'm in the community with, oh gosh, I made notes because there's just too many. I do WCR. I do government affairs. I'm on the board for WCR. I'm the chair-elect for government affairs. RAPAC is a really big one. Just get involved, right?
Let me ask you just a real quick thing. Talk about how that has impacted your business being involved in those.
Oh gosh, community. So being a realtor is kind of lonely, right? You have so much windshield time and you're by yourself. So being involved in these things, I used to call it a 10% club, but I almost feel like it's a 1% club now. But those people are so like-minded. They want to be successful and they want to help people. At the end of the day, we become realtors to own real estate, even if we don't know that when we become a realtor, but it's also for community. And I think as real estate agents, we have the opportunity to give back to our communities, right? So the drives that all of these organizations do and the things that they do to give back to the community. And again, it's a pop on social media and you've got credibility. I did this today or I did that today. It's so simple.
We worked with an agent. She used to be at West USA, and she was very big into the BNI groups and so forth. And her secret, and I love this, so it always stuck with me with the networking groups, especially the BNIs. You always have people that come, it just doesn't work for them, and they don't come back. And those are the people that she always went after. She always called them, set up coffee, set up lunch with them, and built a business from that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, so you kind of mentioned earlier, so this is a segue, so I refrained from commenting on the last point because I knew we were going to get into networking. You are part of a lot of different networking type groups. Obviously, you're part of networking groups that include other real estate professionals. So there's not necessarily, I'm going to go in and generate business. So when you are networking with other agents, I want to know what your goals are, what's the end game for you, and then when you are doing networking events where there are potential clients, how do you approach that? What do you psychologically do? What's the goal? And when you show up, what's Jen up to besides being weird?
You guys are not going to like my answer on this. I don't have one. I am simply there because I just want to absorb. Okay. I do not go in with, I think with BNI, anytime I went to an event, it was, I'm gonna talk to 3 people, I'm gonna get 3 people's names, numbers. And when I go to any convention, I'm like 5 a day. I'm gonna get their business cards. I'm gonna have referrals. I'm gonna get networking partners. Those types I do go in. But when I'm doing fundraisers in the community, or I'm doing something with Women's Council of Realtors or RAPAC, VAREP, and any of those that I'm members with, I don't have one. I'm just there to be part of, and I'm kind of a energy sucker. So I'm just the vampire to just kind of absorbing the energy and getting my reboost.
Okay. Mine are, if I'm going to a networking event where it's comrades and other real estate professionals. Obviously, it's building relationships, but I'm just wanting to learn. I mean, right now we know where our industry is going, and we know the big changes, and so that's the conversation I'm wanting to have with people. What are you doing? How are you seeing this? What towards the systems and processes are you implementing? And with that, I also am willing to share. I'm very I don't keep anything to my chest, probably to my detriment, but I'm an open book. We share everything that we do. And if I walk away from an event like that and I'm like, I haven't picked up one nugget, for me personally, I feel like I'm not gonna say I've wasted my time, but I'm there to learn. I want to hear what top producing agents, what other agents are doing to be successful at adapting to the changes. And then for me, when I go to networking events and there's potential clients, I don't necessarily say, okay, I'm going to walk away with 3 contacts, because then I get too salesy, right? But I want to go and I want to have X amount of real estate conversations with people, deep real estate conversations. And if I've done a good job in that real estate conversation, then the name, phone number will come. If I didn't, then it won't.
I've sat through a few of your classes, and you are amazing at your intro lines. I am super outgoing, but I'm deathly afraid of crowds that I don't know people. So it doesn't work for me, right? So that's where you take what works for you and throw away what doesn't work for you.
So I would disagree, because for people who are terrified of crowds, this is why I always tell people, it's called shrink the room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get intimidated that there's 100 people here I don't know. My goal is to converse with one person, or 2 people, or 3 people, and don't get overwhelmed or feel bad that I didn't hand out 100 business cards. I'd rather have a deep conversation with 2 people than hand out 100 business cards.
That's my 3-person rule.
And that was one of the reasons why I got involved in all the committees and presidencies at the local associations and things like that, was because I was looking, everybody says, oh, there's so many realtors. Everybody's got a friend that's a realtor. Okay, so what are you going to say differently than every other realtor that's out there? And so I found, by going to the committees, the communities, being involved, I was coming back with issues affecting real estate that I could share then the fruit of my study with other people.
Knowledge is
and
power.
It is. And when you come back and you start talking about national flood insurance, or you're talking about a transfer tax, or you're talking about things that affect private property rights, and the other realtor's talking about how I can sell your home faster than the other realtor can, it really makes you unique in the marketplace.
I love that you said that. When I know that I'm being interviewed by multiple realtors and I'm doing a listing presentation, that is the one thing I will not do, is say that I'm better than another realtor, because there is enough work for all of us. Nobody is my competition out here. There's definitely enough work for all of us. And I'm going to skip and kind of go off script here, but one of the things that I've learned to do when I do open houses is, and Anna, again, is one who taught me this, all good ideas were stolen from somebody else.
That's a fact.
It is a fact. It's a total fact. So she taught me to call all of the other realtors who are in the community that have a listing, and we do one great big huge open house. And it is the best idea that I could have ever learned. All of my girls have spent at least 1 or 2 days with her, and she's a solo, and she spends time with them, but she gets more out of it than I think sometimes my girls do, because she's got a person there, and she's the one who took me on my first listing appointment with her to learn what she did. And she's there saying, I know I'm solo, but we all work together, and there's all of us that are doing this. And so it's a benefit to her. And then my girls get to learn and I get to learn. So there's just so many little tricks of the trade if you just hang on to the shirt tails of people who are exceptional and just want you to learn.
All right, number 5, be you, whoever that is. I love this, because people need to understand, yes, I am talking with other agents, finding out what they're doing, what's working for them, what's not working for them, but I'm not trying to become them. And I think there is a difference. We have to, when we wake up, when we look in the mirror, we have to just realize who we are. It's not trying to be somebody else. It's maybe taking what's working for them or avoiding what's not working for them, and then melding it together with who you are as a person.
So Ryan is actually the one who told me, because we have.
My Ryan?
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, you guys have a big space in my heart for me being in real estate and continuing to do what I do. But he had said to me, I was talking something about where my weak spot is. He's like, oh, Jen, yeah, that's corporate America that's taught you that, because you
Yes.
are only, and I think the comment I said was, you are only as strong as your weakest link. And he said, exact opposite. You are so wrong. And he said,
Yep.
Pay somebody to be your weakest link. Go be your strongest person. Pass that on to somebody else.
Yep.
So I'm not very good at Canva. I'm horrible at Canva. And I have a VA and she does all my Canva and I don't have to spend any time doing that. So if you see a really good something on my Facebook, I can do it. Just so
Well,
you
then
know.
she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she really is. So, it stuck with me. Like, if you're strong at something, go do that and just keep doing it. But stop thinking that you're only as strong as your
That
weakest
stupid
link.
advertisement on TV gets me every time when we talk about stuff like this, because I think it is the best couple of words I've ever heard. You do you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, because you can't really be somebody else. You can't take from somebody else, even in a classroom setting or as you're being mentored, and then go implement their thing. You've got to find your personal secret sauce, the person that you look at in the mirror every single day.
Yeah, so Ryan's line is double down on your strengths and outsource your weaknesses.
That's it right there.
I cannot
Stuck with me.
I cannot balance a checkbook. I can't keep up with any of my accounting. I'm 53 years old, and I've tried so many years. This is the year. This is my weakness. I'm going to figure that. Well, the personal stuff, but I've hired an incredible accountant, and 2 years ago I hired an incredible bookkeeper. Now I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. And focus on what I'm really good at. And that's generating business.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, so we are. Well, I'll let you read it. You came up with it.
We are in a relationship business, people loving on people with one of the most emotional and expensive purchases they will ever make. Be grateful they chose you. And Melissa, my co-lead, is the one who I got that quote from, and she's amazing. It's super important that again, the credibility, authenticity, and don't be silent. Don't be a super powerful person who has something to give to people and then hide it in a box, right? So kind of going back to, you can go to the next slide. So going back to.
So we're gonna go over
media.
the don'ts.
And basically the thing is don't not do it, right? I mean the what's the new one that's out that Twitter has?
X.
No, I forgot now. But Twitter, TikTok, you've
Threads.
got the new one that Instagram has, Facebook, all of those. Like
Threads.
Threads, yes. You want to make an account, you want to get on there.
He's a millennial, of course he gets that.
I said it first.
Yeah, I just didn't hear you.
Boomer.
Facebook has a meta, right? And they want you to be on there. And I've learned that if you can hit your stories 3 times a day, and if you can hit your Facebook lives or a Facebook video 1 or 2 times a day, and if you can do 1 or 2 reels a day, like there's an algorithm, right? I mean, they now, I don't know, buy me a lunch a week or something, but it works, right? And if they start giving you more people and more people as you keep doing that. Be silent when busy. We kind of talked about that. Like, don't be super successful and be quiet about it, because that's not giving you credibility.
Right. All right. Don't hang around only with people who want something from you.
Yeah, this is a big one for me, because I had a setback because of it, and I'm still paying for it today. And I just think that there is enough of us out there in real estate that really want to help people, right? And they don't necessarily want anything from you except for to help you so that they can keep giving back. And I think most of us real estate agents are, because we're givers.
And I think ultimately the people end up getting something without asking for it, just because they're givers.
Yeah, I get more out of it when I'm helping people than I ever.
Right, yeah, and I was going to say, I would just flip this. Don't only hang out with people that you want something from as well.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
Because then you're just getting into, then it's not relationship. It's just, you're like my kids. Take.
And I think resources are a big thing too. And I'm piggybacking off of what we were talking earlier, but right? Who who's your preferred landlord person, who's your plumber, who's your electrician, all of those people that you bring to the table for your buyers and your sellers are also a big piece of
You know,
it.
it's the piece that's always missed, Jennifer, is the people, is the fact that if we gave business to all the people that are in our sphere of influence, if we found out what everybody did for a job, and we spent some of our time, when we heard about people looking for people, we referred our people in our sphere rather than maybe, you know, somebody that somebody else has said, we'll get a greater return on that.
All right, let's wrap up with your last one. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And I would just, in addition, be wary of who you're asking questions. Real estate, Facebook, closed group sites.
So on this, I
one of the best
mostly
places.
meant, like, do you know your branch manager? Like, your branch manager should be your best friend. Like, I have the most amazing with Sue, with Janet. Like, I know them, I can call them, I can talk to them anytime I want. Ask questions. If they don't answer it to where you understand it, don't be embarrassed and keep asking the same question in a different way.
Claudia,
Yeah.
I love you. You're my favorite there. I had to throw that. Branch manager.
That's a big one for me. And I think a lot of us don't go into the office and don't know our branch managers and everything that they're offering.
All right, last question that I have for you. You get to go back in time
Oh, I love this question.
to day one where you got your real estate license. Knowing what you know now, what's the one piece of advice you would give yourself? And you only get one. Be me.
Yeah. Be true.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't have joined a team. And I'm a team lead. So I probably wouldn't have joined a team because I didn't get to find out who I was.
All right. It's not quite the answer we were looking for. No.
You were
good.
looking for.
Okay, I would say this, and I tell people as a team leader, a team is not the solution for everybody.
Right.
Have somebody, whether it's a
I think our
mentor, a
coaching
coach,
program, yeah, like
exactly.
we have training, we have React, we have ProStart, we have coaches. Like, you've got to get in there and get your feet wet and find out who you are and what your niche is.
All right, Jen,
Wow.
great stuff.
Wow.
We
Thank you.
appreciate you leaving everybody with the
Amazing.
quote of the day. If you can achieve great things. Appreciate everybody joining us today, and
Thing.
don't do that.